Family, what is going on? It is Kyle Henderson of Bama Football on YouTube. Can I get a roll tide up inside the comment box? Today is Tuesday. It is December 2nd. I'm feeling good. Got a lot of gratitude. Today we are going to talk about this recruiting class that is going to sign tomorrow. 20 guys should be in that class. So that is going to be the meat of the program. I'm going to give you a little bit of break from the college football playoff anxiety, but we will have a show tonight, and we will be going over the college football playoff rankings tonight, probably at 6:45 p.m. Central Time. So look back for a live video at that point in time. But today, we are going to cover this entire recruiting class. I'm going to preview it, give you a nice teaser for what's to come on Wednesday. It looks like we have a birthday inside the comment box. It looks like we have Angel from Pigeon Forge, one of our great followers of the Undefeated. Will everybody please give Angel a happy birthday shout out? Angel, my wishes for you on your birthday. As always, stay where your feet are at. Stay close to God. Be in this present moment. And I think sometimes in life we get so much anxiety sometimes because we're living somewhere else. Am I right? So one way to avoid kind of that anxiety is let the past go, right? And don't think about the future. Stay right here, and that is my blessing for you on your birthday, man. So happy birthday to you, and thank you to everybody who is watching. And if you caught my Wake Up Bama, thank you for your support inside the comment box and for watching the program dropped every single morning at 4 a.m. right here on Bama Football on YouTube. How's everybody feeling today? Give me how you feeling on a scale of 1 to 10? All right, and I put a lot into the graphics always, so I'm really excited to share the recruiting graphics with you. I just finished them up. It looks good. They look tight, nice and organized as always right here on Bama Football on YouTube because like I always say, is like I feel that you, the user, the viewer, deserves something aesthetically pleasing to look at. I mean, come on. It's like 5 stars, 4 stars. I mean, come on. We need something aesthetically pleasing to look at. So I hope you all are off to a really good day. And today, like I said, the meat of the program will be about this recruiting class. I will talk about the college football playoffs a little bit and a couple other additional notes on Alabama football as we get going. So I want to start here and talking about these two photos that I got in the frame. Now, the first on the left is a tweet from Jason Simpson. Jason Simpson is the head football coach at the University of Tennessee Martin, and that is also Ty Simpson's father. He posted this photo. He didn't put any words in it. And this photo, you know how they say a photo is worth 1,000 words? To me, this is worth 1,000 words. And this is coming from a head football coach posting about his son with another head football coach. And I think this photo is pure joy for the job that Kalen DeBoer has done, not only with his team, but with his son, okay? Like, he's treating him like his son. And I've said this before. Coach Kalen DeBoer, we've given him a lot of kudos this week, and I think he's a player's coach. I think that guys want to play for him. I think that prospects want to come here to the University of Alabama and play for him. I feel that he was put clearly in a tough spot taking over, but he's done what he has to do. I mean, 10-2 this year is outstanding. And, you're a 4th and 2 away from maybe things going the opposite way. But the truth is, riverboat gambler, and here we are. He's put together one hell of a season now going into the SEC championship game. So I think, this says a lot to me. When a parent is posting a photo like this, it shows you, the happiness that the parent has for the player, but also it shows you the player, the happiness that he has playing for Coach Kalen DeBoer. So love that photo. I think it definitely goes hard in the paint, right? And then on the right, I got Courtney Morgan. And we really haven't talked about Courtney Morgan lately. And that's just because, we're flying through the football season. But Courtney Morgan is the general manager at the University of Alabama. And he's responsible for roster management. And I heard Courtney Morgan speak way back at the beginning of the season. Man, it's crazy that we're already at this point. But before the season even kicked off, he did a Q&A at the University of Alabama at Bryant-Denny Stadium. I was fortunate enough to be a part of that group. And listening to Courtney Morgan, you quickly realized how important Courtney Morgan is to kind of this entire program. And Courtney Morgan said, look, while everybody is in 2025 right now, my mindset is being here, but also in 2026 in terms of all of the components that have to be connected with the roster. He's thinking about roster management. And if you look at Alabama's recruiting classes over the last, couple of seasons that Courtney Morgan has been here, the recruiting has been outstanding, right? And that's a big testament to this guy doing some diligent research, having a great eye for talent. And as I show you in just a minute, as we go over the prospects that they are about to sign on Wednesday, you're going to be really happy with this class that is coming in from an Alabama perspective. I mean, they got some high-level recruits, some under-the-radar recruits. And I want to point this out. There's a couple 3-stars in this class. Think about the 3 stars right now that are playing for Alabama football during their freshman year. So that tells me that his evaluations of prospects is extremely high, okay? I get it. You got On3, you got, that now absorbed Rivals, you have 24/7, and those guys have their own recruiting analysts. But those recruiting analysts are, they're professional, but there's a big difference in pay grade from someone working there in Courtney Morgan. I mean, I think Alabama's paying him like close to $800K or something like that. Well-deserved, because he is in charge of roster management. That's a heavy load to carry, right? So Courtney Morgan with the championship belt, and, he does such an amazing job for the University of Alabama on the back end. For Alabama taking on Georgia this week, I know it's SEC, but I'm going to give you a break from even previewing that game in the college football playoffs. I think sometimes you just need a little bit of a break, and we have signing day coming tomorrow, and I'll explain how we're going to carry tomorrow's coverage. There'll be a lot of coverage tomorrow, blanket coverage right here on Bama Football on YouTube. And I didn't even tell you what the temperature was going to be, but the temperature is going to be 72 degrees inside Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Who's been to the stadium? Give thumbs up inside the comment box if you've been to the stadium. I've been there a handful of times. Man, I like the stadium. One of the things that I like about going to that stadium, if you've been to there for, an Alabama game, or if you've been there for a Falcons game, or even to watch like a soccer event, there's like no lines. They did a really great job designing this stadium. It's kind of like the stadium of the future, right? Indoors, it'll of course be 72. The tailgate will be 49. And for your drive home, 40% chance of rain. So please be safe on the road when you are driving home. And remember, that Sunday will be Selection Sunday at 12 p.m., and we will be live during that point in time to do a live reaction to the college football playoff selection show. So it's busy, okay? So my words of wisdom this week to everybody, and even to my family in the household, is to get quality sleep, all right? Because this week is action-packed every single day. So get to bed early, do what you got to do to get some quality Z's. Let's do some AM shout-outs before we talk a little bit of college football news and go over our recruiting class of 2020. Let's see who's up inside the comment box. We have Bruce Williams. Good morning, bro. I appreciate you being here. We have Max Tooney. We also have North Alabama Storm Chase. We have Broderick. Our usernames are still a little fuzzy. I'm not sure what's up with that, but we'll get past it. We have Alyssa out in Georgia coming to us. Thank you so much. We have Miss Nicole Covington. We also have Angel, and he says this: today is my big 26th birthday. Got a feeling Alabama makes the playoffs. One of my wishes is to best UGA make the playoffs and win the championship. Yo, man, those are some good wishes for sure. We got Andy coming to us from Denver, Colorado. We got 334 says, what's up? We got Lag Gaming. Good to see you, man. I appreciate you being here. Let's see who else we got inside the comment box. We got MACDOL. He said, what's up? We appreciate you being here, man. And we have Tide Will Rise. Thank you so much for always being here, bro. It's been good to see you on the channel frequently. I do like your takes inside the comment box. Miss Amanda Jane, I appreciate you coming to us this morning as well. Dano, good to see you as well. And one of the things is like we have followers inside the comment box that are very outspoken about different takes, different points of view. I want you to know, and I always want to reiterate this, is that I want you, if you don't agree with something, just say it. This doesn't have to be a one-way street. There are different points of view to look at everything. That does not mean that you don't like me. That does not mean that I don't like you. So if you have something to say, say it. This is a safe space. And I do ask you, and I know sometimes like those watch-alongs, they get pretty hot inside the comment box. Number one, I don't have time to babysit, okay? I got grown kids, right? They're growing up. I got my own like adult stuff that I'm dealing with. When I'm live, I'm working on the show to do a play-by-play broadcast with you. So I get it. It gets hot in there. Take the high road. Don't say something that you're going to regret. And there's going to be trolls. And that's just kind of part of life. You know what I'm saying? I kind of refer to it as like driving on the road and avoiding road rage. It's just like take the high road. People, everybody's dealing with something and just kind of move on. But games get hot. I get it. Miss Careless, what's up? I appreciate you checking in with us. Hey, King's Family React. Good to see you, man. Always coming to us from the state of Georgia. I know we have we have so many fans that live in Georgia, as I've been mentioning this week. And it must be hell having to deal with Georgia. But at the same time, it's like it's last 10 out of 11, right? But these guys have selective amnesia. Run the Table Sports. What's up, bro? Good to see you, man. I always appreciate you being strong in my corner, man. Thank you so much. And then Robert Bradley Jr., what's up, bro? Good to see you. Bama Boy up in the house. Same with Bama Boy. I love those usernames. Chris G, what's up, man? Good to see you. And Mill, he says they have to drop ND, so Alabama, win or lose, they are inside the playoffs. Yeah, so if I didn't give you a shout-out, don't hold it against me personally, but I do have to say what's up to Tonette because she's always up in here, and Wild Woods, what's up? We got a good crew, and people are always like, yo, why you do shout-outs? Because these are the people that are on the show. They deserve shout-outs, all right? And I wish that, like, my boy Jarvis, okay? Like, could you imagine, like, when I grew up and I'm watching, like, Chris Berman on TV or, like, Stuart Scott, RIP, that what if they gave you a shout-out on, like, the broadcast? I know, like, I am who I am, but it's like I don't have, like, a national broadcast. But can you imagine if somebody, like, gave you a little gas up? Sometimes you just need a little gas up in life. So that's how we roll. Chad Howard, one more time, man. Good to see you, bro. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for being here. And Chad Carraway, thank you so much. And Chris from New Jersey. All right. With that said, some news that just came in. All right, this is fresh. Alabama, a little adjustment to the 2026 schedule. Now, this is in from the University of Alabama. I'll go full screen so you can, not on me, but we will go full screen here. All right, so we got some scheduling news, and this is from the University of Alabama. Alabama announced adjustments to its future schedule on Tuesday morning. The Crimson Tide and South Florida mutually agreed to move their previously scheduled 2026 matchup to the 2032 season. Damn, 2032? How old are we going to be in 2032? That's far out. Alabama will replace the South Florida contest with Chattanooga and was previously announced. Added a game against East Carolina for the 2026 campaign. Additionally, the Tide will host Marshall as part of the 2027 season. So you see teams like Chattanooga. You see teams like East Carolina. You see teams like Marshall. Clearly, Alabama is accepting the fact that it's not about quality opponents because you're already playing enough in the SEC. Specifically, if the SEC adds another conference game, what they want to do, you want to kind of load up those open weeks with teams that you could earn style points again. Basically, Notre Dame's schedule, right? Why play, another challenging conference game where someone out of conference that's really good, right? When you could play one of these warm-up teams. Like that's Notre Dame figured out the recipe. They were like, we'll run the ball. We'll play Syracuse. We'll play Stanford. We'll play all these lower-tier teams. And we'll make the playoffs every single year. So that you got really challenging conference games, and then the rest are going to be walked through the parks. And I would imagine that Alabama isn't scared to play anybody, but the problem is they're being penalized. Everybody's being penalized in the SEC. I guarantee you Steve Sarkisian is never going on the road to play Ohio State again. He thought being a competitor, he was like, yeah, let's go. Week 1, let's get it on. That's not going to hurt us, right? It did. It did hurt you because guess what? If Texas, who's finished, by the way, 9-3 and is getting ready for like the Fiesta Bowl or whatever they're playing. What bowl are they playing? Not Fiesta. What would they be playing? They're playing in like the UTEP Bowl. What is that bowl called? The Sun Bowl. I don't know where Texas is playing, but think about it. If Texas had scheduled like East Carolina, they'd finish with a 10-2 record and they'd have a win over Vanderbilt. They scheduled up and they were penalized for it. So now SEC teams are smart. They're like, we're not going to play tough out-of-conference matchups. We are going to play lower-tier teams, earn some style points, and get inside the college football playoffs, right? And like Max Tooney's saying, Sark got screwed by playing Ohio State. 100%. That's exactly what happened. Yeah, Duke's Mayo Bowl, man. Texas and the ReliaQuest Bowl. Man, these are some rough bowls to be a part of. So I know what you're thinking. You're like, well, what the hell does the schedule look like now, Kyle? Well, I got you covered. You know me. These are not in order outside of the first 3 games, okay? So the SEC games, those will be announced as they always are. So we have no idea. Don't get caught up in the order of placement over here, okay? This does not matter. These are just the teams that you're playing. The only games that we know for sure is Eastern Carolina. This South Florida one has been swapped out with Chattanooga right here. Okay, so that doesn't exist. That's Chattanooga. You have Florida State. So you open up really with, those are your opponents. And, Florida State, we'll see what they have last year, or this year. They punched Alabama in the mouth. I don't know. That's kind of your I guess tough out of conference game. And then looking at the rest of the schedule, you got look at this. You got Auburn under new head football coach Alex Golish. Tough. We know when that game's going to be. Thanksgiving. Georgia, they're coming here to Bryant-Denny Stadium. You think Georgia's going to fall off? No. South Carolina, that game's here. Texas A&M, that game's here. Kentucky against Oregon's new offensive coordinator, right? LSU going to Baton Rouge against Lane Kiffin. Ooh. Mississippi State going up to Tennessee, challenging, and then going up to play Vanderbilt. So I don't know how these games, where they're going to be arranged, but I do like this schedule quickly more than I like this year's past schedule. This year's schedule that Alabama played, I thought was like someone said it inside the comment. Who said this? They said it's like Alabama climbing Mount Everest this year on the schedule. I was like, that's exactly right. You know what? The Auburn game put us like at base camp. And now we got to get to like that next ridge. What is it called? Hillary Step? Oh, you didn't think I knew about Everest, right? You ever read Everest by John McCracken? You ever read this book? Who's read this book inside the comment box? It's crazy. I would never do anything like that. Plus, it seems like, there's so many people just paying whatever, and there's tons of long lines at Mount Everest. Do we have any Mount Everest fans? I like stuff like that. Okay. I have to hit on this. So right now, there's kind of a group of people that is upset about Kiffin and Coach Saban, and that Kiffin used Saban's kind of mentorship to take this LSU job. This is one of the screenshots of many. So Pat Smith points out on X, I'm sure it makes Greg Byrne and the board of trustees happy that their $500,000 a year salary to Saban as an employee to do consultant work for LSU, right? And then Ross Dellinger points out, without directly saying it, Lane Kiffin strongly hinted that Nick Saban told him to take the LSU job. So a lot of people are upset about this. Are you upset about this? That Nick Saban, mentored him to make a decision on this job? I'll tell you what, it doesn't bother me in the slightest. Number one, they could pay Saban whatever he needed to be paid to be here at the University of Alabama. And this is my take. So I thought about this morning. Here's my take, okay? And I'll go full screen so I can read this out. I posted this on the Facebook channel as well. This is from me personally. This is my take on Saban helping out Kiffin. ESPN and the world are going to have to just accept the fact that Saban has close relationships with a lot of coaches that are going to land high-profile jobs. His coaching tree is like an ancient oak, right? Those coaches look at him for wisdom and guidance, right? I mean, Kiffin himself, think about this. Every single time that I hear him speaking about his father, Monty Kiffin, he gets choked up. Now, I think Lane does a lot of good BSing, and a lot of it is kind of for show. But I could tell you what, I can read people, and every single time he talks about his dad passing, it hurts him, okay? So Coach Saban and Pete Carroll have become his mentors. He goes to those guys, period, right? And I'm just getting some info on Cam Coleman. Is that for sure? Let me see, because that would be bigger news than what I have to say. Let me look this up real quick on Cam Coleman. I have to break that. Like, I had to go to that. I haven't seen that. Let me check Hayes. See if Hayes has said it, because Hayes always breaks stuff like that. I haven't seen it from Hayes, bro. So until like Hayes or someone like that says it, I don't know. But kind of getting back to my point about Saban and Kiffin, I'm like, look, Saban's the GOAT at coaching, mentoring, and an incredible analyst, and he's still helping Alabama, right, too, on the back end. Whether this is helping Kane with the defense, okay, recruiting, shoot, even his weekly public appearance at the University of Alabama when he's on game day and then you see him up at the stage. Think about this. Saban goes to game day, does his thing, right? Flies to Bryant-Denny Stadium in his public appearance. You know how huge that is for the brand every single time? So that doesn't bother me. I think that Coach Saban, if I've learned anything about Coach Saban, he's about mentorship, right? And I think him and Lane are close, and the world's just going to have to accept that he probably did, help him in some capacity, make that decision. And honestly, who gives a damn? It's just like those are two guys that are close, and they're going to have a connection, and that's just that, right? So ask me, not really mad about it. By the way, I haven't seen anything on Cam Coleman yet. I'm looking, I'm doing 500 things at the same time, and I haven't seen it. All right. Let's talk some early signing day, okay? I just put these graphics together. If you see something that might need to be updated, let me know, and I'll be quickly to address it and fix it, okay? I'm not perfect. I make mistakes constantly. So a snapshot of early signing day is Alabama's class is currently ranked 6th in the country. They have 23 total commitments. 20 will be early enrollees, right? Alabama is definitely set for a monster day. And Alabama should have those 20 guys signed tomorrow. Maybe a couple surprises as well. Let's say one surprise or maybe another. There might be a couple guys that decommit, but I think overall it's going to be very positive for Alabama, okay? There's actually 3 5-stars in this class. I was doing some more research this morning, and to my surprise, a couple guys got dropped from 5 stars to 4 stars. And the way that I look at the rankings, I only go to On3. I don't work for On3. I don't work for 24/7. I just like to go to one place. It's aesthetically eye-pleasing to me. I have no relationship or affiliation with anybody from those sites. It just makes sense to me. So those are the rankings that we are working off with when I showcase the rankings or talk about the players. As you can see, they are number 6 in the country, right? This is a screen grab from On3. Now, they used to have 5 5-stars over here. Now they currently have 3. They have 10 4-stars and 9 3-stars, okay? Don't let these numbers freak you out. I'll explain who we got coming in just a minute. USC currently has 1 5-star and 24 stars, Georgia, Notre Dame, Oregon, and Ohio State, okay? So this is kind of a snapshot of the top teams, and we'll see how the teams fare when the dust does settle, okay? So you're probably like, what do these look like, Kyle? Like, who's coming in, right? And I promise you, I put a lot into the graphics. So without further ado, let's look at the Alabama recruiting class. Here's the quarterbacks, okay? And I'll go full screen so you can see it a little bit cleaner. You guys like the graphics? All right, so you got Jet Damala coming in as a quarterback, and you have Taden Kahawa, right? He's out of Utah. We'll start talking about Jet Damala, and I'll have a video tomorrow when these guys do commit. We'll have kind of a big board, and we'll list when they have officially signed, right? So you can know, did the guy sign, is yes or no? We'll have highlights. We'll have all that sort of stuff. And I might be previewing a couple highlights later on today, okay? So you got Jet Damala coming in. You have 2 quarterbacks in this class of 2026. Jet Damala, starting out with him, 6'4", 205 pounds. He's out of Nebraska. You have Taden Kahawa, 6'6", 240 pounds, big dude coming in out of the state of Utah. And as you look at the recruiting notes, right, and I'll go full screen, Jethamala finished his senior year throwing for 3,400 yards and 61 touchdowns. 61 touchdowns. Quoting Tamala here after the state championship game in Nebraska, he said, "I think I'm the best quarterback to ever come out of Nebraska," Tamala said to KETV after the Nebraska Class 1A state championship game. Kahua finished his career out in Utah throwing for 5,300 yards and 62 touchdowns. So think about this. Tamala threw 61 touchdowns this season. Kahua threw 62 within the last 2 years. Not saying like one is better than the other, but I mean, my goodness. You have two quarterbacks coming in that have thrown for 120 total touchdowns. And these are really the additional quarterbacks that we're seeing being recruited by this staff, right? Because Ty Simpson, I think, on the roster is the only quarterback that was not recruited by Coach Kalen DeBoer, right? Nick Sheridan and Ryan Grubb. Austin Mack, Keelan Russell, Jet Tamala, Tatum Kahua, these are the recruits specifically that they want for this system. So we're still kind of rolling with the quarterback. Think about this. This is interesting from the quarterback perspective. We are still right now at this point in time, and really for the last 2 seasons, have been rolling with a quarterback that is not been officially recruited and kind of the exact quarterback that Kalen DeBoer, in his system have wanted. Not to say that they don't want these guys, but like there's a specific formula, in my opinion, for that quarterback to operate at the highest level. So you look at like a Michael Penix type guy. I think Keelan Russell is a little bit more similar to that, right? And you look to some of the attributes that these guys bring on. I think it's going to be interesting to see the future of the quarterback position with guys who have specifically fit their system, right? So these are your 2 quarterbacks coming in. So let me ask you, on a scale of 1 to 10, what's your excitement level for landing these 2 quarterbacks? I know there's not a 5-star quarterback, but I don't know. I'm pretty excited to see these guys come in. I was really excited to get Kahua kind of on the back end. And I think some of the questions that I'll ask you, throughout the next 2 days as they're getting prospects to sign in is, what would you like to see maybe from a transfer portal standpoint, right? Be thinking about that as you start looking. And tomorrow I'll greatly fill you in and, kind of where we're at from the roster standpoint, who's coming in, and, maybe some transfer portal additions. I think if you ask me right now, the transfer portal areas are clear. Tackle, inside backer, and kicker. Like right off the top of my head. Inside backer, tackle, kicker. Those are, I think, the guys where you need some junior college or some transfers. And I'll explain why later on. So we good at quarterback. I like it. Guys coming in. I mean, this guy is super athletic. You should see this. Super talented prospect. 100%. Okay, the running back. You have 2 running backs that are committed, but I don't think Ja'Vari Barnett out of Florida is going to sign with the Tide. So you're probably going to get 1 running back tomorrow. And that's going to be Xavier Crowell. Now, I have some crown jewel type players in the program. And by the way, the transfer portal opens up January 2nd and goes through the 15th. What's your excitement level about Xavier Crowell on a scale of 1 to 10? And I'll have highlights on him tomorrow or even later on today on a different video. Yo, Crowell, I'm telling you, and I've been saying this, these last couple of days that we started to talk early signing day, elite, okay? The crazy thing about him, and I don't have it in the notes here, but he's supposed to be class of 2027. He reclassified. And to this class of 2026, monster. I consider him an all-purpose type back. What that means to me, speed, power, size, got good shiftiness, can catch, he can hurdle, he can take over a game. It's like, you see the comments inside the comment box. Stud. Okay? Let me read the recruiting notes on him. Xavier Crowell, high school football career, included in impressive stats like 6,200 total yards, 5,700 rushing yards, 56 touchdowns across 38 games. In his most recent 2025 2026 season, senior year, he rushed for 2,000 yards with 38 touchdowns, averaging 185 yards per game. His career also featured 6 receiving touchdowns for 470 yards. This guy, his highlights when I bust them out, and it's very easy to look up his highlights if you want to see him before that. He's crazy. Like some of the plays he has, takeover monster. And how I'll do this tomorrow is I'll showcase the running backs that are leaving and the running backs that will still be here. But off the top of my head, you got Daniel Hill coming back. You got Kevin Riley coming back. You got A.K. Deere coming back, right? You got Richard Young coming back. And you have Xavier Crowell. Now, I know what the talk is. Richard Young's probably going to transfer. That's the talk. We don't know that until the player transfers. We have no idea. So we'll address when those guys are, transferring, but it always is kind of a little bit sticky when you're like, yeah, this player might transfer. We have no idea. The guy's not playing, but we don't know if he's going to transfer or not. We have no idea. So it always is a sticky situation. Be like, yeah, I think he might transfer. We have no idea. But I think the consensus, if I asked you straight up, will Alabama lose a running back? You'd probably say yes. I'd probably say yes too. Okay. Here's a look at their receivers, and I lumped in a tight end as well. So this isn't the biggest class, right? I mean, 23 guys or whatever. Remember some of those classes have been like 35 guys. Like, I'm kind of glad the class is smaller. I'm surprised, and I don't really understand all the dynamics with this, and I'm a little bit disappointed that Cedarian Morgan, and really shocked that he's a 4-star consensus on 3. I mean, let me ask you, yes or no, would you say Cedarian Morgan is like a legitimate 5-star? From the footage that I have seen, and this guy is every bit as good as Xavier Crowell, but just at the receiver position. Am I tripping? This guy, I think, would be exactly 73. I saw that this morning. I was like, what? How is this dude not a 5? Like, he is a lock 5-star. A lock. So I'm really shocked to see that he's a 4-star. A little bit upset because, I'm like, come on. That is kind of ridiculous. But anyways, 6'4", 220 pounds. And this past season, he caught for under 1,000 yards, 62 receptions, and he had 11 touchdowns. His highlight tape is crazy. He's another takeover type player. This is a big statement, but I think he'd play this year. I think he'd get receptions this year. I think he'd make plays this year. I really do. Colby inside the comment box says he's a 6-star. That there's no such thing as 6-star, but if anyone was close to being a 6-star, it would be Cedarian Morgan. I'm telling you, it's kind of, I don't know why he moved to a 4-star. That's really weird. The other wide receiver will jump Sutter. We'll go to Owen Cabell. He's out of Nashville, Tennessee. He's a 3-star. What I like about him is speed. Right? He's like a 4-4 guy. And he's a bigger wide receiver, right, at 6'3". I think he might be I think he's a versatile wide receiver coming in. I think he's someone that could play in the slot or on the boundary. This past year, he had 43 receptions, 688 yards with 7 touchdowns. Cabell can fly, man. He's super fast. And then you have Max Sutter at 6'6", 230 pounds. So Max Sutter, he caught for 500 yards, right? And he is he's a tight end. But the interesting note about Sutter, we're talking about him in the middle, coming in as a tight end, is he also played a little bit of quarterback. He played on defense. He had 6 sacks. Very versatile athlete. So Max Sutter, you got to love the tight ends that Alabama has. They're young, but I do like the future of the tight end room, right? Because you have Caleb Edwards, who's playing a lot as a freshman. You have, Marshall Pritchett. He's playing a good amount. You have Jay Lindsey, who's kind of like that H-back, and then bringing in Max Sutter, I think, gives you another playmaker-type tight end. And let's face it, to be honest, I feel that the tight end room has been a little bit now you have Josh Cuevas, who's been good, but I think for the last kind of 5-6 years, the tight end position has just lacked playmakers. It really has. You need guys that can play, man, 100%. Brian Williams is not expected to sign in this class. I don't think that's gone like public, but that's kind of like, trending. So I didn't even list him. Brian Williams is a 4-star wide receiver out of the state of Florida. Not expected in this class. Sutter can punt. Is that the truth? I don't know if he can punt, but I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, he's one hell of an athlete. All right, so that's our receivers and tight ends. The offensive line looks like this. I'll go full screen because there's quite a bit of guys to look at. On this particular graphic, I'm going to start from right and then I'm going to go left because Tyrell Miller just committed after the Auburn game. Okay, that was like when we were cutting press conferences, kind of got lost in the shuffle. But he's a junior college prospect that just committed to Alabama. And you had to really pick up another offensive lineman because you had Sam Utu decommit, a week or so ago? So you get Tyrell Miller, 6'5", 305 pounds. You got Jared Dottie, 6'5", 300 pounds. Yeah, Bear Fretwell, what a name, 6'7", 315 as a 3-star. And then Chris Booker out of Atlanta, Georgia at 6'4", 285 pounds. I do feel I need to, kind of further assess this group. I do feel that this is an area that you also need a transfer portal guy. I do feel that you need, let's spend all the money we got or whatever we got to do to get a tackle that is like the best tackle. Whoever the best tackle is in the transfer portal, let's go all in, right? You're going to lose Caden Proctor. Does that mean that next year it's going to be Wilcom Formby and Michael Carroll? Now, players develop, right? But I just feel that the right side of the offensive line for the last 2 years has been an issue. And if we don't fix that, it's going to be another year of this. It's unacceptable. So let's go out and do whatever we got to do to be able to get the best tackle, right? So those are that's kind of a snapshot at the offensive line. And Beer Cans and Baddies, who's a Georgia fan, says Georgia signed the number 1 quarterback. I don't know if you signed him, but he committed. But isn't he rumored to flip to Vanderbilt? You talking about Jarrett Curtis? I was just reading that last night because Vanderbilt, they're going to have somebody come in and replace Diego. So I don't know if he flips at the end of the day. We look to the defensive line. There's a lot here. So once again, I'll go full coverage. You guys, is this from a viewer standpoint? Is this aesthetically enough? Was there anything that you'd like to see added to these graphics as I work on them for tomorrow? Because I think sometimes you hear people just talk about the players and you're like, who the hell are they? What's their star ranking, right? Because I think people can only conceptually understand so much, but they also need to view things. They might stop it. They might screenshot it. You know what I'm saying? So if there's anything else that you want to see, let me know and I'll come back and I'll add stuff to it. But I want to make sure that you're able to see, what you got. Real quick, Jay out in Pensacola asked about Elijah Pritchett. I don't think that he was playing for Nebraska. Remember he transferred to Nebraska? I think he played just like he played here, which is pretty mid, which was crazy because he was a starter over here. Again, pointing to the issues at right tackle. All right, talking about the defensive line. This guy on the left, Noah Wilson, he has one of the best highlight tapes, okay? Now, he'll sign, but I don't think he's going to enroll until the summertime. He's big, he's nasty, he's fast. I think he's kind of similar. I'm talking about Noah Wilson over here on the left. I think he's similar to a James Smith. Super fast, super athletic, right? Kamarion Johnson out of Muscle Shoals, right? In-state prospect. This guy has been 100% committed to Alabama since the moment he committed. I mean, all-in type guy. Coaches really like him. I think J.J. Finch, depending on what happens with him, let's see if he does sign. He's been recruiting he's been still being recruited by other places. He's a 3-star. And then you have Jamari Matthews, big addition. probably fits that bandit position. The bandit position is like, think of like a, Keon Keeley, Jordan Renard, that type of position. You see he's 6'3", 270. So you probably need to put a little bit more weight on him. But that's an athletic type position. And then Corey Howard, 6'6", 260. Right? I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Yeah, I appreciate that, Jarvis. I appreciate it, man. Thank you. Yes. And Tough Man points out that no one has signed yet. Yes, this is a preview of tomorrow. So tomorrow, just like we've done every single year, we will have a graphic that is updated throughout the day, and it'll tell you if the player has officially signed, and we will add news. And I'll probably just have a long video that is continuously running, and I'll do my live show at I might be live at 9, come back again at 11, come back at 12. It'll be something like that, but it'll be one stream, so you can just kind of keep coming back and news as it happens. So tomorrow it's a full-on day of coverage right here on Bama Football on YouTube. From the linebacker perspective, you have Xavier Griffin and you have Zay Hall. I really like the linebackers that we got coming in, okay? Xavier Griffin is a 5-star, and I compare him in terms of his athleticism to kind of like a Justin Jefferson, but I think, this is my prediction, this is a big prediction, but I think he'll come in and be better than Justin Jefferson because I think he has more athleticism than Jefferson. And I think he has more size, and he's a little bit more lanky. He could be an absolute menace, right? Absolute menace. You guys like Xavier Griffin? He's coming out of Georgia. This is a big get. I know Georgia fans probably, you've seen this, and you're like, probably wanted him in the class. But Xavier Griffin, he's really good. And I think with Griffin, some guys are close to their ceiling. He's not. He's got a long way to go. And if you've seen some recent photos of him, his arms are so lanky, right? Man. And this next guy, this is one of my sleepers in the class, okay? Hey, London, what's up, dog? I see you inside the comment box. Thanks for being here, bro. Jay Boogie, good to see you, man. Cooks Barlow, what's up, man? Chad Howard, I appreciate it. Zay Hall, 6'2", 225, okay? So my trivia question for you, okay? Who's the last player to come out here to Bama from Hillcrest? I'm going to give you a minute. You better get this. Who's the last player out of Hillcrest to come over here to Bama? And and this is my hint is this. He now plays for my squad in the NFL. That was too easy. Jarvis got it. Brian Robinson Jr. Brian Robinson Jr. went from Hillcrest here to Bama. And, I think he ran for 1,000 yards here, right? Man, I'll never forget it, man. When B-Rob came here and he stepped off the bus, it was like, my goodness. So, and I always say this, the state of Alabama, the high school players are outstanding here. So Zay Hall, 3-star, yeah, so was Lazier Brooks, so was London Simmons, so is Josh Jacobs, right? Who are other 3-stars that ball out? So Zay Hall came here to camp, and I want to say he ran either a 4.4 or a 4.5 at 220 pounds. So this dude coming in, I like him and I like the inside linebacker. In terms of these guys are completely different. I think Xavier Griffin is longer, he's more athletic, and Zay Hall is kind of like your traditional fill him up, knock him down inside linebacker. You know what I'm saying? Robbie was talking about Birmingham and Montgomery. Yeah, you look at the athletes overall that have come out of the state of Alabama, historically, it's crazy. Crazy. All right, the corners. We have Jordan Edmonds, who also got dropped from a 5-star to a 4-star. I don't know why on that, because Jordan Edmonds, that guy's it 100%. And then Zion Gibson. So let's talk about Jordan Edmonds real quick. Jordan Edmonds being 6'3", 6'4", I think it's a clear sign that Mo Lindquist, the defensive backs coach, they want corners that have, long, wiry type frames. Think of a Dejoun Lee. And I love that approach because you are battling with some very good wide receivers that are tall, lanky. And you look to how Dejoun Lee has impacted Alabama's defense this year, right? I think adding in Jordan Edmonds is kind of, gives you an extra corner that has those same attributes. Those are going to be some tall corners in the future. And don't forget, Alabama still returns Xavier Brown next year. So the corners next year, 100% will be Xavier Brown and Dejoun Lee. You also have Chuck McDonald in development. You bring on Jordan Edmonds. Really like that crew at the corner position. Zion Gibson, as you know, there was a little bit of drama. What was that, Monday morning? That feels like, so far away. I think Sunday night, they put out a graphic and they said that he decommitted. He said that there was miscommunication and he shut that down and said that he is going to sign with Alabama. So, miscommunication happens, or you could look at it as like maybe he decommitted and Bama called him up and was like, yo, we can, this is what we can do for you financially. And Zion Gibson was like, cool, let's do it. Kind of like reminds me of remember when Jalen Mbakwe went in the transfer portal for 10 minutes? He did go into the transfer portal, and then he got out of the transfer portal, right? Change of heart. Love me some safeties. All right, Jeriah Edwards. I believe Jeriah Edwards is still a 5-star. He better be. If you haven't seen his highlights, and I'm going to put together a video that showcases his highlights, he's like a human missile at safety. The best thing about him, who knows about St. Francis High School, Baltimore, Maryland? Okay, here's another trivia question. Name a former player that played here at Bama that played at St. Francis. Jeriah Edwards is, you going into Maryland and you're bringing someone in. Oh, so Jeriah Edwards, he dropped to a 4. Is that true? Which is ridiculous. So I'll clean that up. I didn't know he dropped from a 5 to a 4. That is stupid. And then Rael Kelly over here out of Cincinnati. Yo, did Minka play at St. Francis? I was going to, I thought about Iabi Anoma. I thought about that one. I was thinking Chris Broswell. Did Trayvon Diggs too? I was thinking Broswell. Did Minka play at St. Francis? I need to look that up. That is, Minka's one of my favorite players, man. Let's see. Minka Fitzpatrick, recruiting. Man, time flies, man. Let's see. NFL. Yep. Oh, no. He played at, because he was from New Jersey. That's right. Yeah. He was from New Jersey. He played at, he wasn't even from that state. Yeah, I was like, I don't think it's Minka. Minka's from New Jersey. But I was thinking Broswell, Iabi Anoma. Is there another one? Did Diggs? Was Diggs out of there? We'll have to look at that. Anyways, St. Francis sends out, the talent is crazy. So that's kind of the recruiting class in a nutshell. What's your excitement level for the recruiting class? I get it. Look, they put in so much, recruiting and all this news into one particular week. It's a lot, right? I mean, think about it. I'm trying to cover the SEC championship game, recruiting. Alabama has a basketball game tomorrow. There is every single thing is just right in this little window. But I think if we step out and we look to recruiting overall for Alabama, it's they're filling needs. They're getting prospects that fit the play style on each side of the ball. I love the quarterbacks that are coming in. The running back, elite. The wide receivers, good. Kyle's asking about kickers being recruited. I don't think so. But that's an area of transfer portal. So, okay, before I move on real quick, I just want to briefly touch on the college football playoff rankings, which will be coming out tonight. So right now, before I move on, what are areas that you want to see Alabama go for in the transfer portal? Kicker for me, kicker, tackle, and inside linebacker. What else can you come up with? What's one area where you want to see Alabama go in the transfer portal? And you know that Lane is going to be doing his thing, right, in the transfer portal. Yeah, so, hey, just 1 minute ago, beer cans and baddies, you're going to hate this, bro. Jared Curtis flipped his commitment from Georgia to Vanderbilt. I knew it was coming. That's crazy. I knew it, man. Let me bring it to the screen. Yikes. That is crazy. That is like the biggest news right now. Georgia, look, this is just from Ace Fawcett. Look at that. That's got a sting. Ouch. Just in, 5-star plus, Jared Curtis has flipped his commitment from Georgia to Vanderbilt. Oh, my God, dude. I told you. I just said it. Man, that's crazy. The number one class, number one quarterback in the 2026 have been committed since May. Oh, my God, Georgia fans. Oh, man. Woo. I told you it was going to happen. And that, you know what? In Lag Gaming, thank you, bro. This is it. And when we continue to preview Alabama and Georgia, that's what I'm going to hit on. Yo, if Georgia had a quarterback that was elite, Georgia would be reeling in national championships 1-1. I'm telling you, because they have all the other components. I still think they need better wide receivers, but that's the one thing that Georgia just cannot get. It's the weirdest thing. Like, just like Alabama can't get, a field goal kicker after Will Reichard, Georgia can't get an elite quarterback. This is a huge blow to Georgia. I can't even imagine Georgia's message board right now. And think about it. There's still people out there that don't understand kind of Vanderbilt, and Georgia fans are probably jumping off, right? We lost someone to Vanderbilt. Yeah, you did. Welcome to the new world of college football. Oh, yeah, Stetson Bennett was way mid. Carson Beck, mid. And look, as Gunnar Stockton has improved the later part of the season, but he's not going to carve up Alabama's secondary. Are you crazy? Are you absolutely crazy out there? If you're a Georgia fan and you're out there and you're like, yo, man, Gunnar Stockton is going to eat up Bama's defense. No. Reality check. You're terrified. Reality check. You're terrified. Period. But huge news and a huge blow to Georgia 1 day ahead of signing day. Yeah, Jake Fromm. Come on. And good to see you, Drew Dobson. What's up, bro? But there you have it. Georgia takes one below the belt. All right, let me hit on this college football playoff talk real quick. So tonight, 6:45 p.m., come back, kick it with me live as we go over the preview of the college football playoff bracket. And you know how it works over here. Once they show the bracket, we will make a reaction as well. That'll all take place tonight, 6:45. The news doesn't stop on Bama Football on YouTube. And this is how I have the bracket right now. And keep in mind that the committee has not ranked the teams since Texas A&M has lost. I have. Okay, so here's my make-believe bracket as of right now, okay, based off their criteria. So on the left, I got Ohio State, Indiana, Texas Tech, Oregon, Ole Miss, A&M, Oklahoma, Notre Dame, Bama, and then the next highest group of 5. You could theoretically say Virginia and Tulane if those teams are able to win, okay? Now, there is a strong possibility that Virginia, maybe they lose to Duke. Duke will not make it. You'll have to go to the next highest ranked conference champ. It's plausible that Tulane and like a James Madison get in. I know it's crazy to think about, but those are scenarios that could happen. I have a couple questions for you and a couple questions that I want to see, answered by the committee. Okay. When we look at this graphic, which was one of my favorite, I love the bubble gum. Those are the bubble teams. Okay. And some teams have larger pieces of bubble gum than other teams. So I have a question, and my first question is about Ole Miss down here, okay, who finished the regular season at 11-1. So please stay with me. This is really important. I need you to help me, and if you're inside the comment box and you need more time, come back and answer. So Ole Miss finishes 11-1, right? Here are the playoff principles. This is like the criteria, okay? I want to kind of go past this for Ole Miss, and I want to go all the way to the bottom. Other relevant factors. This is on their official principle guide. Unavailability of key players and coaches that may have affected a team's performance during the season and are likely to affect its postseason performance. So again, do you think that Pete Golding and Ole Miss, that they're going to drop off because they lost Lane Kiffin? I mean, it says other relevant factors. Or do you think they're just going to be the same team? Clearly, with what they just went through, you got to think that, they have something to fight for, yeah. But is Pete Golding the same as Lane Kiffin? Specifically on the offensive side of the ball, they lost Charlie Weiss, they lost Lane Kiffin. I mean, do they drop slightly? Do they get kicked out? I don't know. So that is something that I'm asking as we look at the bracket. We'll see what happens. The other question I have is like this head-to-head of common opponents. And this is something that I am scared of, fam, okay? And this is kind of going down the scenario that Alabama, bubble team, even though they're the number 1 seed in SEC play, which is ridiculous, let's say Alabama loses, okay? And they're 10-3. Well, you have Miami with a little piece of bubble gum over here that's going to finish out 10-2. And if we look to the principles, it says, look, comparative outcomes, right here, comparative outcomes of common opponents. Comparative outcomes of common opponents. Well, Alabama and Miami clearly didn't play. Who would have the better record if Alabama loses? Well, Miami. They would be 10-2. Bama would be 10-3. Do they have any common opponents, Your Honor? Yes, they do. Who is it? Well, they played Florida State, each team. What were the results of that game? Well, Miami beat Florida State, and Alabama lost to Florida State. Case closed. Next. Seriously, that is something that scares me. The other scenario that scares me as well is this BYU team, okay? If BYU beats Texas Tech, which I think is unrealistic, but who knows, BYU will finish out the season 12-1 and be the Big 12 champion. There is no way in hell that they leave out Texas Tech, okay? That would mean that the Big 12 would get 2 spots in. And we have to remember that the committee has to take the 2 highest conference champions, or the 5 highest conference champs. It will be really easy if Virginia and Tulane win, then you got 5 conference champions in that are ranked. Okay? Now, what if Alabama wins? Let's be positive. Yeah, let's be positive. And if you watched any of my shows, I have clearly mentioned that I feel Alabama's going to beat Georgia. I know. Weird, right? Here's what I have the bracket looking like if Alabama wins, based off the criteria and based off if Virginia and Tulane win. Okay? Be real easy. Ohio State 1, Alabama at 2. Yes, eat it. Alabama at 2. Indiana at 3, Texas Tech at 4, Georgia at 5, Oregon at 6, 7 Ole Miss, 8 A&M, 9 Oklahoma, 10 Notre Dame, 11 Virginia, and 12 Tulane. That would put matchups like Tulane traveling to Athens to take on Georgia. That would mean Oklahoma would have to travel to College Station to take on A&M. That would mean that Virginia just winning the ACC would be on the road to take on Oregon and Eugene, and that would mean Notre Dame would be playing Pete Golding and company, okay? Now, specifically for Alabama, it puts you in a really good spot. I should have this switched out because I have Alabama in the 2. As you know, I like to make things on the fly. So let's make sure that's right. So we'll do that. And this is how the bracket would look for Alabama. They would play the winner of Notre Dame and Ole Miss. Virginia and Oregon would play Indiana, right? The winner of that game. So that's where kind of things stand. And I think, a lot is going to depend on the principles that they have, right? And right here, the strength of schedule seems to not matter at all, right? The head-to-head competition, this doesn't seem to matter at all. It seems that comparative outcomes of common opponents really matters, and it seems that they kind of go off. These are like kind of their principles that they put on paper, but it seems like they make up rules as they go. Like nowhere in the principles, right, does it say that you have to run the ball, right? Like they come up with kind of rules as they go, specifically when it comes to Alabama, it feels like. And they said not a couple weeks ago that playing in your conference championship, that outcome wouldn't hurt you. Now they're going to use them as data points. And look, do you think that Alabama will be penalized if they lose? I do, 100%. I do. Specifically if BYU wins. And if BYU doesn't win, then Miami's right there with a 10-2 record. Right? So I think that's kind of where we're at. Let's see what Tuff has to say inside the comment box. He says, Kyle, as you and I talked about last week on the show, the committee's principles are out the window this year. They are doing whatever they want. I agree. Just like I said, I think they just printed this down for us to have like something to chew. But, the committee is, I think they're just making things up. And I think that Alabama, honestly, as much as I hate to say it, is Alabama a playoff team, Kyle? Yes. Based off what? Well, their resume, right? But I think that the committee will penalize them if they lose. And I think now ESPN has them with a 39% chance to make the playoffs if they do lose this weekend at Georgia. But the good news is that won't happen because Bama will beat Georgia. And on Thursday, when we start to preview Alabama versus Georgia in its entirety, which will be on Saturday, I will explain more, and I will take your calls and have different points of views on why Alabama beats Georgia. All right, so you could think in the negative space, but, man, how many times in life have you just thought something bad was going to happen? It's just wasted energy. Just let it go. I mean, live on the fact that this is still a good football team despite what the noise says, right? So I'm confident, and we won't have to look at this, very much longer because the actual playoff bracket will showcase Bama in it. Live on the positive side. It's a lot easier. Hey, fam, I hope you guys enjoyed today's show. I got a video coming out later today that'll kind of showcase some of the prospects highlights. I really want to bring Courtney Morgan, Xavier Crowell, and what some of the prospects from 2026, what they've done. I want to bring that to you. Stay tuned for that. We also have, I think some of the coaches are talking today. I have to check my schedule. And then tonight at 6:45 p.m., I will be live again to talk about the college football playoffs as the official rankings will be released tonight for the first time following Texas A&M's loss. That should be interesting to see where those teams are, specifically with Lane leaving and if they do stick to those principles. All right. If you like the show, hit the thumbs up. And as you know, I also drop a video at 4 a.m., which is called Wake Up Bama. It's been very popular. A lot of work goes into every single video. So hit the thumbs up. Thank you for becoming a fan funder. Super chats go a long way. And I really appreciate your support. And remember, before I go, I have to give a shout out to our sponsor, which is Sleeper. All right. So Sleeper's been in my corner this entire season. I don't have, this is my only sponsor that I have. So you got to make sure that you support Sleeper. Download the app. You get $20 upon entry. You get a $100 deposit match up to $100, but you got to use the promo code, which is Tailgate. Please support Sleeper. I know there's a lot of people that do out there, and I'd really appreciate it if you support them because they support your boy Kyle right here on Bama Football on YouTube. Have a blessed rest of your Tuesday. You know this isn't the last video I'm going to cut, so keep checking back. Stay with our Facebook page and news as it happens right here on Bama Football on YouTube. I hope you like the recruiting graphics. Rather than just talk, I think it kind of puts things in perspective about what's coming into the capstone. Once again, thank you for watching and catch you soon right here on Bama Football on YouTube. Thank you so much, fam. See ya.